Just wanted to say a quick thank you for coming to our speaker training today. Learning more about United Way, I see a lot of new faces, and I see a lot of familiar faces. My name is Mary Klinger. I'm Vice President of Resource Development here at United Way. I work with all the companies in helping to schedule agency visits. So this training is designed specifically for you. When we get requests from those companies to go out and make presentations or do tours at your agencies, you'll have an idea this year what our messaging is and what are some of those things that we'd like you to say and to kind of tie back in to what your agency is doing. So before we get started, what we'll do is we'll go around and do introductions. You folks have been doing this for a lot of years, and then also some new folks. We welcome you. Hopefully you'll learn a lot. We have lots of materials to present to you and lots of information to share with you today. Before we get into the meat of the training and going over kind of the storytelling and what we want to share with you, just wanted to give you a status update on the campaign. Can't believe it's August already. Oh my gosh, every time I think about August, I think about loan executives, kickoff, everything like that, our materials. We really launched the campaign officially a couple of weeks ago with our CEO breakfast in the middle of July with the Theater Cedar Rapids. At that time, we presented to, maybe some of you were there at that event, our messaging for United Way, some of our priority areas, and then we also talked about our campaign. Barry and Gilda Boyer. Barry is the president and CEO from Van Meter, and Gilda Boyer is retired attorney from Shuttleworth, are our campaign co-chairs this year. So you'll be hearing a lot about them. You'll see them in the video. I'm sure you'll see the video a lot as you're out speaking. At that event, we announced our campaign goal of $10,350,000. So we are well on our way to raising those dollars. We have a lot of our top companies who have already been out campaigning. Rockwell, I know many of you have probably already been out at Rockwell, maybe not doing speaking presentations, but setting up miniature fairs. And I know they have another one coming up in the month of September for a volunteer fair. So on behalf of Rockwell and all those other agencies, if you've been out already, thank you so much for that. We have our loan executives who will be starting the week of August 23rd, just a few weeks away. During that time, we'll have a week of training for them. Many of them will come back out to your agencies. We'll do some agency tours. But those are the folks that you're really going to get to know during the campaign. You're going to be working with Tiffany, and Tiffany's going to speak in just a minute, on how do you go about scheduling a speaker engagement or a tour engagement. What happens when your agency has been requested by one of the loan executives or by a company? And so Tiffany's going to review that. But they will be here for about 3 months, and during that time you'll be called upon many times to go out to companies to speak. And that's why we're having this orientation today, so we can kind of go through the materials and what can you expect as a speaker representing your agency. So what I'll do is I'll turn it over to Tiffany. Tiffany's just going to talk through a little bit about what happens when the loan executives are here, and then how do we get a hold of you, and what can you expect from Tiffany when scheduling those appointments. So, Tiffany.
I am the one point of contact for United Way. All of our staff and loan executives, when they get a request from a company, all of the requests come through me, and then I contact, excuse me, you all. I try to give you as much information that I can give you, such as location, if there's a specific building or door that you need to go in, the approximate time that you'll be speaking at that facility. Oftentimes, it's maybe 2 to 5 minutes. Sometimes you're lucky to get 5 to 10 minutes. It just depends. But I do try and give you as much information as I can, so you know what to expect and what you're going into. Sometimes companies will request a certain topic they might like you to speak on, or other times it's just a general overview of maybe what your agency does, things like that. Once a request is given to me, I do all my contact. I try to by email, often the easiest way to explain everything. Send an email out to you, and then if you have someone who's willing to speak, that's great. Email it up, let me know, and then I pass that on to the staff or loan executive that requested the information. And that's pretty much it. Yep. Great. Does anybody have any questions? Or?
It's pretty easy. Tiffany us really efficient at it. As we said, that will start happening really in full force once the loan executives start and they get to call on their accounts and stuff and they start setting up their meetings. The main time frame in which you'll be speaking are during the months of September, October, and November. United Way has their kickoff this year, the week of September 13th. We're doing something a little bit different than what we've done in the past. Traditionally, if you can remember, we've always had, you know, a big picnic or a lunch in the park where we've announced the results of the Pacesetter Company and really announced the goal. Obviously, we've announced the goal already, but this year we're taking the kickoff on the road. So we're going to be spending the week of September 13th going out into the community, going out to companies, and really promoting United Way in that Live United theme. Getting out there, thanking individuals before they start their campaign, some are already in the midst of their campaign, and just getting out and saying thank you. With that, I will turn it over to Leslie with Community Impact. She's going to be going over some materials with you about telling the story and how you can relate your organization and telling the story and how it impacts.
I made one other handout for us to work from today. By the way, it's nice to see everybody. Glad to have a room full. This year we tried to put together some tools for you, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to walk you through some of the messaging materials that have been developed. One of the items in your packet is the CEO magazine, so you have that in front of you as a frame of reference. This packet we'll go through in a couple of minutes, but we tried to come up with a way to simplify some of the messages that we're taking out in the campaign. When you think about it, we have 5 focus areas. There are 40 agencies. You all work in various areas across those focus areas. And how do we help someone understand when, for many of these donors, we only have a few minutes in front of them, the relationships between all of this. What you do, what the priorities are, those kinds of things. So we tried to come up with a graphic representation of this, because the other thing we want people to understand is even if one day we talk about early education and another day we talk about financial stability, all of these issues are connected. We can't do just one thing or just another thing. And so that led us to develop this circular graphic and try and come up with a couple of words that would help people imagine what it is that we're talking about that we do together. So Start Strong is the early childhood message, Grow Strong is the youth development message, and Stay Strong encompasses 3 of our focus areas, which is about financial stability and health and older adult independence. We felt like that one phrase really helped us talk about all of those things, and all of those things are connected. So you see the arrows in the circle. Kind of makes sense? So the other thing we tried to pay attention to as an organization this year is reinforcing the same or similar messages over and over again to simplify that for all of us. You know, people really want to know what's the issue, what do we want it to look like, and what are you doing about it, or what are we all going to do about it. So we put together some tools for you to help you do that. And if you look behind this, the first page of this packet, what you see is some templates that we built. Now these, we're not suggesting that you would go and stand in front of a group and begin reading at the top and finish at the bottom. Not at all, but we thought it might be helpful to give sort of a headline and a close, so that everyone who's out and every group we're seeing, we have the opportunity to kind of say the same things over and over again. Obviously, the stuff in the middle, that's your gig. So let me take you through the first one. We're all looking at early childhood. We did 5, so we did 1 for each focus area. And I just want to highlight the things that we think are kind of the critical messages, and then the things that you need to personalize based on your work.